Well, welcome to episode 0.
Welcome to episode 0.
Happy New Year. I mean, I tell you, 1999 has got to be better than 1998. It's like a brand new era, but, you know, the millennium, it'll be the end. You just don't know.
Well, we could just be repeating a weird sequence that keeps winding around, chasing the snake's tail.
Oh, a time loop? Yeah. I have a sense that might be right. This is what it would be like.
My friend Ed is refusing to say Happy New Year till the 20th.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, right. I mean, they killed a king once. You know, the people.
Yeah.
That was in January.
Yeah.
January 29th. 16 something.
Yeah.
Chucky.
There's also stuff that happens in March.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Beware.
Details. I don't know what they're talking about. Seemed to work out well for Brutus.
Where are you?
I'm in an undisclosed location, otherwise known as my dining area.
That's like more specific. Like where do you live now?
Oh, I'm in Magnolia, right by the park.
Okay. Moving on.
Literally. Well, you know. Right. It's actually quite affordable.
That's
which is
surprising.
Great. Yeah. And it's half a block from the entrance of the park from Discovery, which is great. Because I moved in March of 2020. Just as everything, just like a week before everything started shutting down, which was wonderful because it's saving grace of having the largest wooded park in the entire Seattle area, to have that, to be able to, as my backyard, to wander around. And it's easy to socially distance when you're what do they call it, forest bathing.
Yeah, but do you miss 2010 Capitol Hill? I mean,
oh hell yeah. But you
play anything lately? You go anywhere and play People to Masks?
No, it's still technically illegal in Washington State. It's been illegal since the 15th of March to have any kind of live public entertainment in any way, shape, or form.
Panhandlers? I mean, you go downtown, shoe shine's gone, everybody's,
Technically, yeah. The rule is basically like restaurants were open for a while. You could go and get a burger. You're just not permitted to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. What a mess. But you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're writing?
A little bit. Not much.
You composing?
Not as much as I should be.
Okay, shit. Are you practicing?
Yeah, some. Yeah. I think more than anything else, I'm trying to work through other compositions, and work on like tiny little 10-second increments at a time, and try to get them more the way I like them, and writing little comedy sketches.
Okay. Theme?
Just random, just like silly shit. So music one thing, but like just.
Do you have a solid 5 yet? I mean, like where you at in this?
Oh, absolutely nowhere near a solid. No tight 5. It's not even a loose 5.
No. Oh my God.
I do have the most recent, which is ridiculous because Curb Your Enthusiasm, like Everyone always
Mhm.
wants to pitch ideas for a good
Mhm.
idea for a show. So
Yeah.
so of course I had to.
Mhm.
Imagine this. We fire everybody, right? And instead of following Larry David around, we follow around John Lithgow, right?
What's he
Already
up
a better
to?
show. Already a better show. Already a better show. And instead of Jerry Lewis being his best friend,
Yeah.
John Malkovich is his best
Mm.
friend.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You know, you can get
That's watchable.
you got
That's a
John
good pitch.
Malkovich being like, John, you said you'd meet me at noon on Tuesday. I sat for an hour and you didn't show up. And John Lithgow, you'll never believe what was going on. Everything was so busy. It's not. I just made it. I'm so glad you're here. Right? And then, so we got to think. So we got the Johns gone. So we got Jeff
Mm.
Garland's gone. We
Mm.
got John Goodman
Oh, you got
to
another
play.
John. So is this just
Yeah, yeah,
called Dear John? Is everybody's
yeah.
yeah.
Everyone's it's just all Johns.
Uh, Hollywood
So
Johns.
yeah. So John Goodman is playing
Uh,
Jeff, the manager, and in his role, you know, his wife is like a loud, foul mouthed beast, right?
mm,
Um, so John Goodman married to a loud, foul mouthed beast of a woman,
mm.
um, right? Roseanne would be perfect, but you know, she's not anymore.
Just get them
You
back
know,
together. It'll be fine. It's all
so
blown
maybe
over. You know, healing and unity, forgiveness, all that stuff. Yeah.
so on the back burner, I got Rosie Perez.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. She's getting a
Yeah,
lot of
it's got to
working
be
space.
Rosie. It's got to be
I don't know if
Rosie.
you can afford her now, though. You know.
Wanda Sykes. We're gonna keep Wanda Sykes as Wanda Sykes. Because you know
No change there.
we've got
Uh,
Leon.
Jay, yeah.
Leon's great. You know,
Leon. Just keep Leon.
Leon is gonna be John Stamos.
Oh.
John.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
John Stamos moves into the guest house, which means Bob Saget's hanging around all the time.
Okay.
They're playing board games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Funkhauser is John
Mm-hmm.
C. Riley.
Mm-hmm. You just keep with the John theme. Does it
Yeah,
matter if
yeah,
they're
yeah.
spelled Jon or
Doesn't
the other
matter.
variants?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
No.
matter.
Okay.
Ted Danson, interestingly, Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, John Jeff Goldblum. He changed his name for the role. You got to get
Right,
in
of course.
somehow.
But the big thing we're trying to figure out somebody for Cheryl, for John Lithgow's wife, who eventually they get divorced right in the show, and because Cheryl marries Ted Danson, or they get together, you know.
Mhm.
So that's now Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, I did
So
not know. That's total spoilers. I
sorry,
stopped watching shows, like
long time
5 years ago for some reason. The new
ago.
flatmates, they have like very specific tastes. So like, if it ain't Blippy,
Uh,
it ain't shit. So I haven't really seen
yeah.
anything in a long time.
Well, the kid, here's the
That's a
clincher.
good pitch. Yeah, let's get to the beat.
Cheryl is played by John Lovitz. It's
Mm-hmm.
2020.
John, yeah.
John Lovitz and John Lithgow having a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Make it
Mm-hmm.
over, mull it over, guys.
Well, they have a really good height difference, and I think that'll play well. Like
Yeah, I
opposites
think
attract kind of thing.
key demographic. I mean, it's not going to cost that much.
Mm.
We just got we need Lithgow, Malkovich, Goodman, Stamos. He's cheap. He's cheap.
But is this all CGI? I mean, are they going to be in person? But the whole thing's filmed with masks on. Like even when they sleep, like they never take the goddamn mask off. And there'll be like a big reveal where someone does take a mask off. They just get a tiny mask under it, just never unmasked.
Oh God.
You've got a lot of potential here.
Yeah. I think I should shelf it.
Yeah, or release it, straight to video without getting any IP checked and
Yeah.
just have impersonators for all the actors. They're wearing masks.
Oh God. I think the whole thing came about because I was thinking about like what would be sillier than John Lithgow and John Malkovich because they look like they could be like identical cousins kind of thing, like Patty Duke kind of style,
Right.
like
Right.
good twin, bad twin.
Yeah. Identical cousins. It used to happen in the 60s. Kind of tapered off, but yeah.
I'm trying to be relevant with talking about the Patty Duke show.
See, you clout chasers are all the same, looking for relevancy. I've been pitching to Liz pretty much for the last 4 months, and I just get shot down every time, no matter how much I rework the concept. I never get another call back. She just says no. There's no mileage
No.
to it. So all I pitch is, let's do joint stand up with all jokes set between 93 to 96, as if it happened today.
All right.
I got this. I know I'm just watching some really terrible television and like thinking like I've got a really great critique on this, or isn't this funny? But it really doesn't matter what throwaway thing is worth. Like, why am I reviewing albums and shows from the 90s? Like I'm so
Why
late
not?
to this. Every good joke was already made. I mean, decades of Saturday Night Live covered this,
God.
and yet, since it's new to me because I missed all of that stuff due to homelessness, I'm watching it now. Like, hey,
Oh, this is great.
Ross is a really interesting. What am I going to say about Friends?
It's okay that you don't get all the references like right up front, because technically we were on a break.
Yeah, sure.
That was my worst attempt at a Friends joke.
I love it. The filth. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to film your pilot remote, all on Zoom. I mean, the chemistry is going to be hard. They're really going to have to bring their A game, or else it's going to look like another Zoom meeting or another Zoom play or TikTok, presentation. Like they got to bring the passion. And I think that these mediums, these newer, younger, born in the cloud platforms, I think there's going to be a creative expression maturity to them. I'm not saying what they're doing now on them isn't relevant or isn't interesting or lasting. But I do think that there will be some combination of memes, mimetic, whatever videos, virality, viral videos, some sort of thing generated from this period that becomes the media put in future MoMA and future museum. Like there's no doubt, like any creative expression, like on the verge of burgeoning cinema. And when everybody with a camera was doing just non-narrative, just like surprise, delight, this is spectacle.
Well, and out of
and now
necessity,
we talk about like who are the great filmmakers who told the most impactful human stories, because the medium matured and really great work started coming out of film.
Well, and I might argue, I might not, but that what's his name, the cholo guy on the skateboard with the giant the thing of juice, was it cranberry? I forget. You know what I'm talking about?
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
There's this guy. He's like this like happy cholo guy, and he's riding a skateboard, and he's got a plastic jug of like cranberry juice or something, or like some thing, and he's just doing a selfie, just chugging, cruising along, drinking out of this, and it became like the meme that took over the internet for like 2 weeks. It was like in the darkest of the dark days, all of a sudden, like there was this illumination of that.
Well, it's a lot. I mean, my ignorance is really just a sign that it's a lot easier for me to believe in the future of lasting forms of expression, creative and artistic expression through TikTok, when I have no idea what's on it.
Yeah.
When actually on social media, it's like,
well, I was in the grocery store yesterday.
Yep.
And there was like, I fucking don't remember what product it was, but it was like, like Easy Cheese or Pop Tarts or whatever whatever stupid product is in the aisle, and they had a little icon on it, a Snapchat icon, so that way you could follow them on Snapchat. I mean, like, who's following like the makers of penne pasta on Snapchat? Oh, what's going on in the pasta world on Snapchat? I gotta know. Just everyone's like trying to be relevant in a way
But
that's so wonderfully
you know,
hilarious.
but good for them, right? I mean, maybe you start out as a coalition of local fishermen, eventually buy enough businesses, and 170 years later, you're making video games, but the name of the corporation is still the same. I mean,
Yeah.
or cars, or phones, or I mean,
Or
I
cat
don't know,
food
man.
or
Or
whatever.
cat food, right? Like sometimes it can be like really jarring when you're in the beginning of a change or the end of one cycle, right? Like that stupid. I don't know if it's Churchill or apocryphally attributed to Churchill, but this is not the end. It's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning. To
Yeah.
ever be in a in a moment of change,
We have a
it's
guest.
gonna. Oh, hey, hey. You have to sign a consent form that you're going to be recorded.
Miga, would you mind right here? Like, got a pen handy if you wouldn't mind. Just right here, just some of the key features here, if you wouldn't mind. Just right here.
No.
She's refusing.
Okay, well, we'll just blur it. We'll just blur it later.
All
I've
right.
had experience doing that, talking to people with, who accidentally reveal confidential, government secrets, and then I have to like delete and then put something funny in. Um, so yeah, so on the cusp. So like Kodak, and you think about like camera, and you think of film, and you think of songs, and you think of just this. For me, maybe it's generational. Like just this, you can see the roles of film that haven't been developed. You can see maybe when flipping through, family member stuff or your own old stuff. Oh, I've got an envelope, no pictures, but oh, there's a bunch of negatives, and like you just see
Oh yeah.
Kodak, right? And to know that they went through a stage of simply being a patent troll, suing while not exercising those patents, just well, we did invent a similar technology, but we're not making lenses or film or any of this stuff. So like, I mean, they're like doing something completely different now. I don't even remember how they've rebranded, but they're it's essentially as alien as, yeah, we've launched a fried burger franchise, and
Yeah.
a VHS store. You're like, well,
One
Kodak, like,
and then then Kodak was part of whatever the hell the rapid with like getting face masks or
mm,
ventilators or
mm,
whatever I don't know, they were doing something which makes, I mean, a chemical company is where they start out, so
yeah. So when you're on the cusp, it's weird. You don't really know, but I do see like the brand partnerships, and like you said, follow this peanut butter company on Snapchat. It could be really funny. They have a social media manager who's extremely online and can snap back. It'd be really funny.
yeah,
Um,
which which is not a horrible job. If it's
maybe.
fun,
Well,
if
nobody
it's
has like
fun.
written a great expose to say, oh, oh, um, I'm censored 100%. I'm actually really just a copywriter. I
Yeah.
mime the voice of this particular demographic, use their keywords. It's entirely manufactured,
Yeah.
and anything with real social impact. I don't actually say because I obviously don't have the authority to make those kind of calls. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's like probably it's kind of fun, but it's probably also really shitty because you have this
Mm.
pedestal, and you could go rogue, and
Oh
any
yeah.
minute just be like, all cops are bastards, and then boom, you're fired, and they just hire somebody else who knows the lexicon. It's like, well, I have
Yeah.
Urban Dictionary. I could figure out Twitter.
Yeah. You're fired, and well, Kaylee McEnany is going to be looking for work soon.
There's always jobs
Yeah.
for shit-eating propagandists. It's just
Oh
it's
yeah.
gonna there's always work for them. It never goes away. Like anytime you see Karl Rove, you're like, oh, you
Oh, you still there? How you doing?
you demon with your hooks in the world.
Fuck.
I mean, they last.
Yeah.
Won't compare them with the cockroaches because cockroaches are pretty rad and they have a lot of songs and they don't deserve to be compared to politicians.
You know, I speaking of branding and all these things, I jogged my memory. I haven't thought about it for a couple of weeks.
Hansel and Gretel transmissions from Uranus.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
I actually do have a brand.
Oh, okay.
It's not fully fleshed out exactly what we're gonna do, but like we've got down. The name is Counterproductive. Right. My guess is
Surrealist.
Possibly kitchen items that are altered in such a way that make them so that way they're completely unusable.
I'm glitching on the name of the artist, but there is an artist who produced an entire line, just gallery work around frustrating devices. I will post a link when we put the video.
Yes.
Keep going. So not that at all that it's been done because I don't think she sold more than the prototype made for the show, and it really deserved to be put on an infomercial. Anyway, carry on. So we've got some household products.
One and looking at it from the you've got to do commercials. You've got to have memes. It's like this is counterproductive.
I like it.
Yeah, it's silly, it's stupid.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I mean,
and
how yeah.
If I don't see it making millions, but
no, it's going to be entirely non-productive. But like
yeah, exactly, it's counterproductive. But it's like you're in the kitchen. It's like you want to be counterproductive. Hey, you're working in the kitchen. Do you want to be counterproductive?
That's terrible. I love it.
But
it works in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and I really do wish. So this all was kind of born out of seeing all the like snake oil salesmen, whether it's the TV evangelists or people who push The Secret or as like a book series, and it's like there's no secret. It's the secret is that you were able to convince a bunch of people to buy your book and movie. Good job. But that's the only secret. Or people who want to sell this tinctures to cure you with nothing, and I could so do that, and I would be wonderful at that. But there's like this thing inside of me. Maybe it's a conscience that, or it's something that stops me from carrying out that way. So counterproductive is the closest I can come.
Right. If you at least put it on the face, then it's just up to your successors to corrupt it and turn it into like human trafficking exploitation shop cult and make it really about something else. But at least in the beginning, during the salad years, when we made no money, it was a great venture. Yeah.
Oh, it was fabulous.
No.
I thought about actually selling snake oil too. Just. But then you've got like FDA things, and you gotta deal with, Because
Oh,
if you're taking like olive oil and putting it into a package and then you're selling it, you know,
hmm oh yeah, no.
if there was contamination or something, somebody ingested it, I can't be.
Oh yeah, you want
Yeah,
something that could be sold, with the label, not for consumption,
yeah,
the novelty
exactly.
purposes only. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. This is inedible underwear. The inedible.
Not unedible, but
All right.
inedible.
Right.
I yeah. I've never understood like this inedible versus unedible.
Yeah.
Like why how does it get the in?
I chalk it up somewhere in there, kind of like well, one, shit, man, meat and flesh. It's at one
Yeah.
point, it's definitely flesh. And we're not talking about skin. We're talking about the muscles.
Oh
At
yeah.
some other point, it's meat. I'm gonna eat it. This
Yeah.
wacky lexicon of High French and German and rando assumption and consumption of novelty terms.
Well,
I keep thinking about it. I mean, I will go in this like mental loop. Like, why did we choose for the particular uses demi, semi, or hemi? Because it
uh,
sounds really ear wrong, like cognitive dissonance, whenever you put one of the other synonyms for half
yeah.
to something else. So like a hemigod,
Yeah.
a
Or like
demi truck. It just sounds
right.
funny.
Or like die versus buy, right? Like DI stands for two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is there a second? Why is it like
Mm-hmm.
um
By
yeah,
vision.
yeah. I'm gonna get some difocals.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but we chose, and you see all sorts of funky stuff like that. Um, Greek endings in words migrated into French and
Uh,
Spanish that one country, one tongue took as a feminine and the other took it as a masculine. So you get le versus la with the same, but
yeah,
they maintain the same Greek ending. So it's la, mano. And you're like,
yeah,
what am I
exactly.
doing here? Yeah.
Like map.
Mm-hmm.
Map is one in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Yep.
mapa, but it's el mapa.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But the
Yeah,
whole realm of it, you know, it's all just funny. I see your cat walk across the screen. It's like, Gato, you beautiful birthday
hey,
cake.
yeah,
En français. you know?
yeah.
Anyway.
Or in
Words.
Portuguese, the word for dog is cow.
Ah, right. Right. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
that's that's
meh.
the fun. Yeah, yeah. So
All right. So we're no. This is a key moment in the show. So this is what happens. So we're at the 28-minute mark. This is
yes,
after this. Nobody's listening.
yeah, yes,
Nobody.
exactly.
So plenty of listeners, but it's only 15 to 30 minutes. So at this point,
Yes,
we can get a little bit looser, a little more open. It's a
I
lot
have no
easier at this point.
tequila. I have no
I've been drinking
tequila.
wine, margaritas, and some gummies, but that was a long time ago. I
Can I
think.
put in a maybe they'll do a thing here. But Elysian,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
They used to
immortal
be
IPA.
independent, right?
Yeah, now they're owned by the same fuckers that own Goose Island and everything.
The
Um,
Jesuits.
yeah, at least it's not the Latter Day Saints.
Yeah. Well, they haven't been too hot into the conspiracy scene in a while. We really,
Nah,
should do something about that. Everybody gets a turn on the wheel of, you take the blame for all the ills
or
and
yeah,
failures of an individual. Well, it had to have been, them. the day.
So, but I was going to ask you though. No transition.
Yeah, drop it.
So you do have a face, right? I see it.
Yes, but no. Why?
Um, do you like the masks? As it's like your face doesn't have to be out there all the time.
Um, I mean, I was working from home for 12 months before COVID came to the U.S.
Yeah.
And since I got to Arizona and I wasn't in, walking distance to a grocer, a pub, live music,
Yeah,
a beach, you're really only within walking distance of death.
Yeah.
Phoenix, you just I could just go and become one of those
There's that
worms on the
store.
sidewalk that swirl up after a rain and then don't make it back to the dirt, and then the sun comes out, and itsy bitsy spider, he gets to crawl back up the drain, but the worm just dehydrates right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I gotta be.
You've got that convenience store gas station that's like out the go out, take a left, take a right, and it's like up the way.
Yeah, you can.
But
I mean, you could walk across 17 lanes of traffic at 80 miles an hour for sure.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I'm the problem is you're gonna need to, like, let's say you were gonna go get like a 6-pack of beer. You're gonna also have to buy a gallon of water to keep yourself from death.
And some money to pay for an ambulance ride. Hey, so I think that big ass bird you saw when you were here.
Oh yeah.
It's a raven. So my neighborhood, I've now really been spotting it more often. The first time I saw it was walking around a neighbor's yard, and I pulled the car over because it's not unusual to see crows, right?
Right.
But to see a black bird, I don't know, 2 or 3 times the size of a rooster, strutting in somebody's yard, like taller by a head than a large dog, and just this robust body. Like, what the fuck is that? And not a neck like a vulture, but yeah. And so now I see it flying around, and I guess they're not around Phoenix in the Southwest, maybe more in New Mexico than here, but now I'll see it flying, and it is an enormous blackbird, very distinct from a hawk, definitely distinct from all the crows. It's not an eagle. Yeah, my neighborhood just has a giant raven that hangs out. I was like, you'd be vindicated, because when you saw it, I was like, Brian, it was probably just a hawk. And you're like, no, I know what a hawk looks like.
It's not a hawk.
Right.
I actually have I had a couple of notes. I just I forgot about them.
Okay.
Number one, I'm just right. I mean, what perfect story, is like, living at a place whose address is 69 Sugar Lane, Sugar Grove, Illinois. At a time when, like, there's no way of like any action happening whatsoever. But like, if we could like get into the time travel machine and alter a couple of one this and that, like, if somehow you were able to have that as your permanent address, how beautiful would that be?
I'd definitely put in shag carpet. I'd wear a lot of velour, like a lot more than I wear now.
But you did have those like red leather tracksuit pants.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I did, but it would have been more, because we were in no place to avail ourselves to the beauty of such an address. It was literally.
To anyone But anyone who like doesn't know the story,
Mm.
there was a short time where he and I shared that address. Like that was literally the address, but we didn't know the address until like what, like it was like 3 months after being there because
Oh
there was
yeah.
no mail service.
Uh, yeah. Yeah. We were tucked away in this very seedy apartment complex behind the laundromat,
Oh
next
yeah,
to the liquor store, and somewhat behind the restaurant, the smorgasbord.
and there was nothing sweet about that place at all.
No.
Oh God. So and I think I might just skip the second altogether. But I have a note here which I is not fleshed out. It's underlined and circled, and it says abandoned fiction. Ah, yeah. Uh, how often? So like, how often do you creating a story in some way, shape, or form, and at some point you realize it's got to be abandoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you tear it from a notebook? Do you burn it? Do you shred it? Like there's sometimes like I will not want to when I realize like I'm abandoning the story. I don't want to look at it. I don't even want to think about it. Like I want it to remain only in my memory as much as it can. I don't want any kind of manifestation of it.
Well, that's pretty dramatic. I mean, in the case of like a video game where you have way too many saves, where you quit the game because yeah,
Hey, quit.
you made it through character creation, you got to your initial place, and then you realize, oh, outside of character creation, the character looks really terrible. It looked great when I was making it, and the actual
Uh,
gameplay doesn't match. So you quit, but it autosave, so you just kind of create a new. So you have a bunch, and you never go back and open them. In fact, you really don't want to. You wish you had deleted it or saved over it. But in the case, so I have some fiction, some starts, false starts that are like that. But I have a lot of other ones that a secondary benefit to not throwing them away manifested only after time. The primary benefit was, you know, I had a big bin that just filled up with notebooks. And
uh,
even though it's like unpublished work and unfinished work, I'm like, I made something.
yeah.
But the secondary benefit is during a dry spell or just you're having a little bit of writer's block or whatever. You think I do have that bin. I have that bin. I'm gonna go get in that and
Of
see if I have any great old ideas and recycle my own stuff. But nobody else has to
yeah.
know. I'm sure I've got some gems in there. So you might be thinking, oh, hey, the secondary benefit is that you don't have to work as hard because you'll find what you did before and it's really good.
Yeah.
No, it's all shit. The secondary
Yeah.
benefit is that when you go through that bin, you sort through and you look at false starts you had and realize why you quit that one. And
Yeah.
that way, whatever your next move is, you're reminded, oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Don't even bother taking that one on because you're gonna go put yourself into a really bad corner that you don't know how to get out of.
well,
I'm like that with a lot of different things. Yeah.
do you remember back in like 2003, 4? So I don't know what year it was. Oh 04, oh 05, oh 06. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
kinda.
this would have been probably like for me a much earlier time. But anyway, I was there was a story that I'd actually been working on and storyboarding out and going through and the premise of it ended up that it caused me too much anxiety and so I had to quit it because I couldn't keep my mind in the setting of the story long enough and retain sanity. Um,
Mm.
so this was like in 2000 or 2001 when I was working on the story. It began, and then gave it up. It was the story of came from a dream of there was I don't know how to explain it other than to say an airborne cancer, and as a cause as the ramifications dealing with it came out, there was also at the same time a push to get away from paper money, and at the time there was all these
you were starting
commercials.
to see that, right.
There was all these commercials on television of like people dancing and they're in a cake shop and everyone's having a gay old time, and then they get up to the counter and somebody's paying in cash, and then all of a sudden the music stops and line,
the record scratches.
Yeah. So it was like all of that kind of stuff like kind of come together and coinciding, and it was like every time I would work on like a little something in the story, it was like it would happen in real life, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
it wasn't like it was like manifesting it, but it was like this is a little bit too close. And like I was thinking back on that story this past year, a little bit too close to home. And part of me is like, man, I wonder, man, if I had saved some of those things instead of like shredding them and burning them, maybe they would have been good, or maybe like it just would have made it hurt all the more.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, knowing and not having any ability to do anything is kind of like one of those curses of anything from telepathy to time travel. Like, advanced knowing prescience isn't really nice if you can't change it.
Well, in an age of time travel, interdimensional shifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is a long time ago?
Oh yeah, right. Mañana.
Like
it's some other time that's not now. Could be tomorrow. It could be 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I think about time. It was topic to topic too, but it's if you think of like a tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially in maybe not in Arizona, but a tree in other places that
not a
go through
palm
seasons,
tree. Okay,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's lost its leaves now, and you see it coming up.
Bigoted against Arizona.
Ooh.
these trees they introduced here that don't belong here. Sure.
Yeah, but you get a just a
right.
standard deciduous tree in wintertime. It's lost its leaves, and it looks like roots.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when you think about and you start thinking, realize, well, the air. There's a lot of water in the air. Except for in Arizona,
right.
there's less water. I don't know why. I have no hard feelings against Arizona. But
I have a lot of hard feelings about it, but I get it.
But you've got, so like the tree is trying to gather this moisture from the air, as well as from the soil and the ground. And there's that point that like that singularity, for lack of better terms, where it hits the soil and it's just one,
Sure.
And it comes back out, and so like all of time, all of existence is kind of in that same kind of thing. It's you have these cones, massive on either side, coming and just to this one tiny little point, which is the moment now, which everything is always going. Is it passing through it, or like I don't know.
yeah like I want to think about it as some sort of umbilicus, or I want to think about it as corpus callosum connecting the two hemispheres of the brain, but all I can think of is two giant spheres with tiny peonies fucking and the now is right here where they're fucking, and the rest is all the other stuff.
Well, it's like they like the, you remember those like the Chinese finger torture game things, where you like it's like the two peepees are on either side of the place and they get stuck.
They do. Oh, the harder you pull, oh, the better it feels. Yeah, those were a staple of childhood, and they're so shitty. And you know, I have no idea what their origin is, but like knowing the provenance of most American objects and terms, like they're probably about as Chinese as French fries are French, right? Like it just
Yeah.
like yeah, we call it that, but like I don't know that there's
Yeah.
another name for them. I don't know. That's funny. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, there I am. I am just
Yeah.
this like I'm this much drunk, but I'm like this much high. So it's like,
Oh,
ooh,
nice.
let's go look this
Yeah.
up. That sounds nice.
Go.
I wonder where that comes from.
Oh,
But you're doing
what?
good. You're doing okay. I mean,
Eh,
shit, man. I closed up into hibernation really
um,
for I almost said like 3 months, but I think it's been like 18 months.
yeah.
Like I don't really like I
Well, you've got
haven't
entertainment.
replied
You're
to
making
Mark and
robots like a motherfucker.
yeah, well, where there's cardboard, I'll make something. But um, I just haven't really stayed in touch with anybody, and it's not for any like nothing that dramatic is
Yeah.
happening, and I don't know. I was just in a place for a long time where I couldn't really talk to anybody. The externalities of the stress that just all closed in, um,
Yeah.
and the futility it felt. I just like what am I? I don't. There's gallows humor, and then there's just this is so despairing. what am I going
Shit.
to say to
Yeah.
anyone? But you look good. Seems like
All
you're
right.
doing good. Okay.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could use a haircut. I could use a shave, but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you're still in the city.
yeah.
I miss it.
It's all right.
I miss you
That, well, I miss you too,
so
brother.
much. I remember like some of the last few times I came out to you before at the place. What the heck was the name of that? The Lookout. It
Yeah.
was like kind of like yeah.
That.
It's just how fine a feeling it was to see you with an audience that digs you, and it's not a huge audience, but it's a tight one and an energetic one. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
everybody's been at some bar where somebody's playing, but it's non-diegetic. Like it's like not part of your
Yeah.
scene. It's like just background music, and that's okay. They're still gonna get
Yeah.
paid. Maybe you'll tip them. They're
Oh,
not
that's great.
meant to be like intruding, but
I love those
yeah,
those gigs were fun too.
yeah,
Those were one of my favorites was for like new gallery openings and things.
yeah, right,
And just off in the corner doing your thing, taking a
right,
break
right,
every so often.
yeah,
Go get a glass of wine, come
yeah,
back. Somebody might come over.
yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you very much. I'll talk to you
Right,
more after I'm done concentrating on what I'm doing.
right, right. Is that hard? Yeah, yeah. It's harder when you talk to me.
Yeah,
It looks so complicated. It is.
yeah.
Shut up and fuck off.
It's wonderful. I'll let me. I'll come find you later and let's have a drink.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but going into it is fun. Like when it's out of the back and like it gets you when it's allowed to be in the forefront is nice.
Yeah, it is. So shit, man. What what feels okay? Option A or B. This is not a red pill, blue pill question.
All right.
A is you're gonna be a super intimate audience member of your all-time deceased or not favorite performers,
Okay.
and you get to see their show for as long a duration as you want. Or B, you get to perform for your all-time ideal audience of all time, comprised, living or dead, of people you wish you could have performed for? Like, what is it? Is the audience experience where you are a enjoyer of the arts and like soaking it up, and you can be someone else and vicarious through them, or the performer aspect? I'm just curious.
So I actually have some things that I was some notes I had written that completely address this, even though it's on a completely different subject. Number one, improvisation requires some practice.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, inescapably, the artist is the audience also.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it is related to something else. So I'd have to go B. I mean, as much as it's I've seen so much wonderfulness, and of course, like it's like Sophie's Choice,
Yeah.
It's not so
your
much.
stand-up's going to be super relevant, man.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You're going to drop Sophie's Choice.
But looking at it from the aspect of, it's not. I think in order to do it well, you've got to minimize the ego as much as possible. I mean, really down to as close to zero. Approaching infinity on that end, because at that point you are just. We're getting back to the whole thing about passage of time, and modernity, and being present in that moment, and that's what you're doing is is instantaneous. I mean, this is what we talk about in surrealism. This is of just in the absence of any aesthetic or moral concern, just thoughts dictation. And when you're there performing on stage, you have no fucking choice. Like, that's all you can. Like, the best thing you can do is get rid of everything else, and the only thing that's important at that moment is just making it happen. It's just that song, or that portion of the song, or what however. Nothing else matters except for that song. If it's a musical performance, that's the only thing.
That's the most interesting
that
part, right? Semantically, much like utopian and dystopian are practically synonyms, working as an expressive performer in surrealism, incidentally, is close to a definition of theater of the real, right? The 60s and 70s, concepts, because there's no mediator, no processing, no abstracting, and honestly, there's no performing. You're just being, and I don't know. It is surrealism, but it is also realism.
Well, and part of that too is it's like what was the first thing? Improvisation requires some practice.
Right. Right. I love that.
You need to hone what you're doing, so that way you're at that when you're at the helm, and or you maybe got these ropes or whatever. You've got to know, like, if when the wind comes just like that, like, how do you react to it? How do you move over here? How do you move over there to make the passage of whatever is happening come to fruition?
Right. It's not metacognitive, right? You're not thinking it. You just need to do it. It needs to be so internalized that you can just move with it. And the beauty and tragedy of it is that being able to develop yourself in that area of your mind that can defy all reason and just be within these creative spaces, to ignore factual outcomes, to ignore well-reasoned, critical analysis of election securities, of secret clandestine pedophile billionaire rings.
or simply just believing one of the largest propagated lies of that you can be absolved of your wrongdoing by a human sacrifice.
Oh yeah. So yeah, exactly. So any of these interesting notions can be internalized and acted upon without reflection in the same way that our expressive arts does. So you just have to use your power for good, not evil, or at least for weird, not evil. Pretty much
right.
Anything but evil. It doesn't have to be good at this point. Just
No,
anything,
you
but
can
just not the
it's
evil. It gets so
right.
weird and unproductive.
Right. I mean,
Counterproductive
counterproductive.
even. You could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it.
Uh,
I'm going to stop recording because now I just want to talk to you. And these people aren't invited to this part.
um,
But thanks for the show
I'll,
part.
oh yeah, I'm gonna end with a little tiny bit of
Do it.
of just to say thank you very much.
You're so welcome. I would just want to
And
make this my regular Wednesday night thing, except I have no idea if today's Wednesday or not.
it's still Blur's Day, Infinite
Oh,
Blur's Day.
oh, yeah, for sure. Well, wake me up when Blur's Day Ember ends.
I will actually plug something.
No, please do.
For a dead man.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's dead. The 1990 Nobel, I don't know if you can see that, Octavio Paz, his 1990 Nobel speech is that big, and it's in 2 languages. It's 68 pages after it's English and Spanish, so it's like what, like 30. I don't know. I'm math 34 pages long.
I'm a writer. I don't know what pages are. I only know word counts.
and it's double spaced. Okay,
so tell me, why do we need to get this?
It is probably the most wonderful. It's in search of the present. It's just about modernity. The last statement on here. We pursue modernity in her incessant metamorphoses, yet we never catch her. Each encounter ends in flight. We embrace her, but she escapes, disappears immediately, and we clutch the air. The instant is the bird that is everywhere and nowhere. We want to trap it alive, but it flaps its wings and is gone in a spray of syllables. We're left empty-handed. And then the doors of perception open slightly, and the other time appears. The real time we had been seeking without knowing it. The present. The presence.
That's beautiful. Hey, entertain me. You say it's also got a Espanol version?
Yes.
Read the same passage in Espanol, if you don't mind.
Aye. Perseguimos a la modernidad en sus incesantes metamorfosis y nunca logramos asirla. Se escapa siempre. Cada encuentro es una fuga. La abrazamos y al punto se disipa. Solo era un poco de aire. Es el instante, ese pájaro que está en todas partes y en ninguna. Queremos hacerlo vivo, pero abre a las alas y se desvanece, vuelto un puñado de sílabas. Nos quedamos con las manos vacías. Entonces las puertas de la percepción se entreabren y aparece el otro tiempo, el verdadero, el que buscamos sin saberlo, el presente, la presencia. I did what I could.
Love you, Brian. I'm just going to press stop record, but don't drop.